You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. We're in a realm of distractions right now. There's so much theater going on around us, and this leads me to what I want to get into next, the latest current event spectacle that occurred at a mall in Miami. Some are saying it was a 8-foot-tall alien invasion. The police and officials are saying that it was a fight that broke out with guns and fireworks and all kinds of craziness, but they sure did have almost, every police officer in Miami that was called to that mall?
They had 60. They had 60 on hand.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Well,
what do you think?
The thing about it is, I have not been able to get, folks, I'm honest, I have not been able to get a hold of the 911 call. All right. That I haven't been able to do. But here's what I have been able to do. I know a sheriff, and I know a few people. What happened was they had New Year's Eve, right? People like to set off fireworks on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. So what happened was you had a bunch of teenagers that had nothing to do. They went down to the open market. Now, what it is we call it an outdoor mall. They call it a marketplace. It depends on what country you're in or where you live. That's a Hispanic district. So what it is it's a mall that all the entrances are outside. Why? Because Miami's a beautiful place to be. So what it is the kids were down here at this open marketplace. And, kids are kids. They had fireworks left over from the night before. They decided to start setting them off. Apparently a taxi cab driver got upset because of the crowd and what they were doing. His car was broken into. He was beat up. The police were called because of the fireworks. All right. Mm-hmm. But they had the impression that apparently whoever made the call gave them the impression that it was shots fired. So you got shots fired at an open marketplace with a lot of people there shopping. Mm-hmm. 60 police are going to roll in.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Now, as far as your 8-foot-tall alien, if you actually look at that footage, it's three people walking side by side.
Yeah.
It's three people walking side by side on a flat surface with a couple of stairs up to that little fountain.
Yeah.
All right. So don't buy into the crap. You have to look at it with your own eyes. And immediate reports are not what you need. The thing about it is the immediate reports were that fireworks were set off. There was a conflict between individuals, and the police were called because they thought it was shots fired. Mm-hmm. That was the original report. Mm-hmm. A couple days later, the guy comes out with this really highly edited and blurred footage and says it was an 8-foot alien.
Mm-hmm. This makes me wonder if this is just all independent goofballs that are trying to get attention and trying to cause confusion and make a joke out of things, or if there is a level of organization and deception behind some of these alien stories that are coming out.
Now the one in Peru is very, very different. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, what was that, about 3 or 4 months ago? They had the story about they call it the face peeler or the face skinner. Excuse me, the face skinner.
Yeah.
The tribe down there in I swear it's Peru,
remind us a little bit about what that was about.
All right. So what happened was they have been harassed by something that would remind you of the Guyver. Now, if you've never seen the Guyver, it's a suit that goes over the top of the body and bonds with it. All right. The descriptions that they give of these things remind me of the old show called Guyver. There was a cartoon series that was like anime, and then there was actually a live action version that they made. And I'm old, y'all. This goes back into the early 90s. But anyway, so what's happened is they've been attacked multiple times. The one that we heard about was the latest, and it got huge coverage. But they have been attacked multiple times over 12 years now. And these things seem to have something on their feet and something that goes through the back of their suit that allows them to hover. Now people say, well, now, wait a second. Folks, we had technology that you could put on your body that you could still walk through a 36-inch doorway and you could fly. Now, you couldn't fly like Superman, but you could, if you had control of the suit that you were wearing, the exoskeleton, you could fly vertically so that you're standing. And all you had to do is lean forward just a little bit to go forward. okay, or tip your feet down. This technology we've had since the 90s. Now, an exosuit, an exoskeleton, I can tell you right now, in 1988, they had an exoskeleton that you could get yourself into that was like what Ripley used in Aliens to move freight. Now, it was a big, bulky, heavy thing. It had to be plugged into a huge cable overhead, but you could move freight with that thing with one person all day long, and stuff that was heavier than a forklift could move. You know, a regular forklift. So to think that this technology is not available is kind of self-deceptive. But now these things down there in Peru have been going on for over a decade. This is the most advanced description that I've heard from the tribe. They actually shot this thing with a shotgun, and then it couldn't get off the ground. They interrupted the airflow from the suit somehow, or the power. But I'm telling y'all, they're wearing some kind of body armor, and they've got these advanced hovering systems in that suit that they're wearing. You can find footage. They had platforms that you could stand on and hover and fly long distances way back in the 1960s.
Now, when you say they, do you think that this is some sort of black ops military operation? I'm sure you're familiar with the book Cameleo by Robert Guffey. Could we be witnessing some of this exotic technology being tested in different regions?
Well, you know, I would say that it's corporate, not, you know, think about RoboCop. The corporations had the technology. The corporations had the technology, not the people. Yeah. Right? So here's the thing. There are resources in that area that are protected because the natives live there. If you can get the natives out of there, or if you can cause an issue where the state has to take over the area because they're in danger, now you can get your corporations in there to get the resources, right?
The more deception that comes about surrounding UFOs and extraterrestrials, not only from our media and sectors of our government, but independent companies that have been working on this stuff for a while, testing this stuff, it makes me wonder how much of the phenomena is even genuine anymore. Have we completely hijacked this UFO realm and made it our own, and almost everything we're seeing is just our toys flying around out there?
Well, you know, I have to go back to the oldest groups. I would say that if it has wings and it has vertical stabilizers on it or landing gear, it's probably ours. If it is oval or odd shaped and does not have what you would call a lift wing on it that's obvious, then I would say it's probably not ours. And the difference would be gravitational flight versus you know, actually using aerial. Or, you know, aviation is what it would be if you have wings and lift. But, folks, we got the let's see, what is it? Oh, it's about to get loud for a second, guys. But we got the F-41 Phantoms, right? And then we got the F-43 Phantoms. Those are drones that the Navy flies. If people have never seen those, they look like something out of Battlestar Galactica. But, you know, is it ours? Is it theirs? You know, these things have been seen for centuries. I mean, we've got stories about them that go all the way back to ancient, you know, India in the Vedic and the Hindu literature. So it's obviously been around for a long time. We have stories from China. We have stories from South and North America. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to use their technology to hijack real history.
It's just seemingly going to lead up to something. Either they're going to roll out this tech for purposes of war and conflict.
Ronald Reagan, brother. He said it right in front of the United Nations. It's a shame that we don't have a enemy from somewhere else that forces us to unite